This is my Mine Light sluice. I have it set up. There's just a tiny, tiny little slope right here. Works out perfect to set it up. It cleans out very, very well. I kind of revamped it and replaced the half-inch over carpet and the riffles with the Gold Hog Razorback. The Gold Hog is kind of designed to be able to push as much material through as you possibly can, as quickly as you can, and still save the gold. And I've done 2 cleanouts, found some almost pickers and some very, very fine powder gold. So I'm going to run a couple more buckets here. And I've taken everything and run it through that half-inch classifier there. You can see the square hole in the green pan. So everything in my bucket here has been classified down to a half-inch. They say you don't have to classify with a Gold Hog mat, but honestly it's just easier to deal with than all the rocks that you come out with. But I'm going to try to push a couple scoops full through here so you can kind of see how it works. If you look at the mat itself, it's hard to make out the ripples in it, exactly the height of them and the grooves and stuff, but you can see how material collects on the back sides of them. Those are the heaviest materials. There's a vortex created as the water goes over the top of the riffle, and it circles it back around and holds the hard materials. So when you dump a scoop in, it kind of fills up, but then very, very, very quickly cleans out. Much cleaner than my other system in the same box. You see it fills and then very, very quickly empties back out again. You can see how filled they are now. If you give it 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, well, not even that long really, it will completely clean out. It's designed for and called an active exchange. The heavies will bounce around in it, pushing out a piece of lighter material, and eventually it'll push all the light material out, and the heaviest will remain in the sluice box. Works pretty good. You can run I've been running a bucket through it in about 5 minutes if I stick to it and don't take pictures and film. But I've got a bucket full here, so I'm going to keep going. It's a beautiful day. Cloudy, but very, very still. No breeze. Warm. I say warm. I don't know. It's probably in the mid-40s. I believe if it's set up right, you can just about run it scoop for scoop. It doesn't take long to clear it out. You can kind of see that the creek drops off quite a bit here. And I got very, very lucky to find this little spot here. But the sluice just fits in perfectly. This is what's called a miller table. I've seen them 4, 5, 6 feet long. I call this my mini miller. I've never seen any gold run past the top 2 or 3 inches of this table. So I don't see the need for one that long. You can see underneath I have a Tupperware dish to catch the material that comes through it. There's a small pond water pump that cycles water through it. There's a very small hole here drilled in the top corner of it that is used to hold a bottle, a little vial that can catch the gold. Sometimes I use it and literally paintbrush the material into it. Sometimes I just pick it up with my snuffer bottle. But as it's advertised, and I know you're supposed to believe everything you read on the internet, and my polarities may be backwards on this, but as the water flows across this table, it creates a negative charge to the table. As the friction of the water flows across the gold on the table, it creates a positive charge, and therefore opposites attract. The gold sticks to the table, and the lighter material washes off down into this pan. Now I catch it in a pan because I can't guarantee this science, and I'll run my material, my concentrates through it. Then I'll take this pan and pull that material out of it, and I'll run it again. If I find any gold in it whatsoever, I will run it again, and continue to until I find nothing, knowing that I have really captured as much as I possibly can. This will collect the finest of flour gold. I want to say almost microscopic. It's not, I'm sure, but you really can't see it well at all. In fact, I wear a headlamp to shine down into the table to make sure that I'm capturing everything, or if something looks like gold but I'm not sure, I'll move it with the paintbrush a little bit, and if the material around it washes away and it sticks, it's gold. There's a lot of stuff that glitters in here. The old saying, everything that glitters isn't gold, that wasn't produced by some brilliant country music singer. It was produced by prospectors 100 or 200+ years ago, because gold doesn't glitter. The diamonds in your ring glitter when you walk out into the sun. If the gold in your ring glitters when you walk out into the sun, you need to talk to your spouse, because it is not gold. Gold is gold. It doesn't glitter with light. It looks just like gold on a cloudy day and on a sunny day. So anyway, I have some concentrates from my New Year's trip out to the Uwharrie. Not very much. Few tablespoons of concentrate. But I'm going to run them. I don't know how this video will come out, but we'll see how it does. Alright, so basically, like I said, I have 2 or 3 tablespoons of concentrates from my sluice box. I panned out the material from the sluice box, and this is the material that was left in the pan after doing so. And you can see how what we call the blonde material washes away, because the blonde seems to be the lightest. It's not, this is not a sexist Miller table video. But you can see the black sand and the blonde sand. The black sand is typically magnetite and hematite. The magnetite is a type of iron that can actually be removed with a magnet. But as you can see, it slowly filters the lighter material out as you brush it around. Now I can see already, I doubt you can see the color, but right here are 4 pieces of gold. This is another piece right here. Here's a piece right here. So what we do is we just kind of continue to brush this material up into the water flow. The lighter material will stay. I'm sorry, the heavier material will stay. The lighter material will flow through the bottom. If you have something that you think is gold but you're not sure, such as these pieces right in here, actually right here I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I see 10 colors. So what I would do is I would just move them a little bit with my brush and see if they stay. See how they stayed right there? Again, don't believe everything that you read on the internet, but I'm tending to believe this. And you continue to move the material around, try to push it up towards the water flow, and hopefully the water flow will wash the lights away and keep the heavies. And now for my first spoonful of that concentrate, you can see that I've already got a good bit of gold showing up in the pan. I don't know how well the color actually comes out in that, or how focused it is. But if you think it's gold, you move it over, let it wash through. Again, you just continue to brush it around. Gold is 19 times heavier than water. If you dip your brush into the water and shake it around a little bit, the gold falls out of it. It's not going to stay in the brush. So this is 1 spoonful of my concentrate. And again, if you're curious whether it's gold or not, move it a little bit with the brush. Let the lighter material wash away from it. There's a very small piece of gold that just tried to get away. And again, I have a pan underneath this, so anything that I do lose that happens to blow through, I will run again. And I may even run it again and change the pitch of the table so that it's not quite pitched as much, which means that it will take more to wash the material off of the table. But this seems to be set up pretty good. It's hard to tell, but some of these smaller fine pieces like that right there, this piece right here, I don't want to say it's microscopic gold, but it's very, 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 very fine, and what I would consider to be powder gold. So I'll take the gold that I have from that spoonful and I'll move it off to the side, and you can see that the other material just sticks and the gold continues, or the other material washes off as the gold just continues to stick to the pan. If you want to clean it up a little more, like you can see that there's some sand particles in here, I just move it a little bit and let the water wash the lighter materials away, and the gold tends to stick. These pieces right here that you see, and I don't know how well you can see them, obviously you can't see the color, but these pieces are a fraction of the size of the pinhead. They're very, 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 very small. So this seems to work well. Here's a piece that kind of got away from me. But you can see as you brush it and move it, it tends to stay. Again, you pull the material up from the bottom, wash it up into the water flow to make sure you haven't lost anything, and I can tell right now by looking at it, there's a tiny piece right there. That's gold. very, very, very small piece. Piece that I just pulled up from about 3 or 4 inches down below. I know that's gold right there. You can see it right here. I know that's gold. So what I'll do is I'll move this material out of the way, clean out my brush, and I'll move it towards my pile. There it is again, see? I'll move it a little more and brush it up in there. Now there goes a piece that tried to sneak away right here. Again, you just keep brushing it back and forth until you've gotten what you think you can. And then you grab another spoonful. Now this is all fine gold that I caught with my Gold Hog Razorback Mat. And from the earlier parts of the video, you can see that I was blowing water through it. I really was. And I was concerned about losing gold because I'm kind of new to the Gold Hog matting. However, I have to say, by looking at some of this, the finest of pieces, that mat will catch the gold. It really does. I'm impressed with it, and at some point in time would like to set up a small test and actually catch my tailings from it and see if there's anything left in the tailings. Again, you can see I just dumped another spoon. Here's colors here. I definitely want it in my little vial. Now, all what you're seeing here is material that I didn't know that I had from panning. Yeah, I saw some tiny little pieces, but you can spend a lot of time panning if you have the tools to pan it as best you can, pull your big pieces out, take the rest of it home, or run it through a device like this, the miller table, or if you have something else that you like to use, the blue bowl is one. There are some expensive tools to remove it. This is probably one of the slowest of them, although I don't know, the blue bowl is pretty slow. But this absolutely, for what it costs, absolutely works. And again, you're not getting rich off of this at all. It's a lot more fun to find the gold than it is to have the gold. It's just cool to walk out into the woods in the middle of nowhere and sit and pan like they did 200 years ago and actually find something like this in your pan. That's awesome. That's what it's all about. Again, it's not having it, it's about finding it. And unless I find that 20 or 30 or 40 pound nugget, I would never sell an ounce of it. It's a conversation piece that sits in my hutch. And when friends or people come over, I kind of like to show it to them. So next process is to take my sniffer bottle, and there's a tiny little piece, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little piece that tried to escape. But I'll come off to the corner and push some water out of my sniffer bottle. Snuffer bottle. And I will suck up that gold. You can just brush it into this hole right here, which is there's a vial screwed onto the bottom side of it so nothing escapes that hole. But you can get much, much cleaner. I found that the vial does fine. However, it does collect some light sand that seem to make it across the table. But this, what I'm sucking up right now, is pure gold. I say pure. In the Carolinas, my understanding is it's in the high 80 percentile of pure. There's other elements and stuff that are within the gold. Out in California, 92 or 93%, my understanding. Again, it's only what I read. I don't know how true it is. I don't know if you can see these or not, but there's tiny, tiny, tiny little pieces right here. That's all gold. How much is it worth? I don't know. Doesn't matter what it's worth. I found it. Made it to my house from the Uwharrie National Forest. I am not going to throw it away. And if there is some tool that's very, very, very affordable, kind of fun to use and to watch, well, I'm all in. So, anyway, I hope this wasn't too boring. Maybe you learned a little something from it. Maybe you didn't. But I have cleaned out for my New Year's trip.